Hello everyone, welcome to Ramaile Padai. Today we are going to learn a lesson about sequence and series, which is lesson 6 of class 10 mathematics, and from this lesson we will get a question worth 4 marks in SEE. So without any delay, let's start. What is sequence and what is series? First of all, we will learn about sequence. So sequence is an ordered list of element that might be number, object, etc. following a specific pattern. Okay, so first of all we will write the definition of sequence. So sequence is an ordered list of elements that might be numbers, objects, etc. that follows a specific pattern. So this is definition of sequence, and let us see how sequence looks. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are sequence. Why? Because they are ordered list of elements, I mean numbers, ordered list of numbers that follows a specific pattern. So you might ask, what is the specific pattern that this sequence follows? Here the difference between 2 and 1 is 1, difference between 3 and 2 is 1, 4 and 3 is 1, and 5 and 4 is 1. So here the specific pattern is they have common differences. Okay, and talking about the types of sequence, there are two types of sequence. One is arithmetic sequence and another is geometric sequence. In SEE you will get a question to identify whether the sequence is arithmetic or geometric, and for that you will need to understand two basic terms, that are common differences and common ratio. We will understand common differences and common ratio using a sequence given here. Here in sequence A, B, C, D, E, F, as shown in this slide, we will find common difference and common ratio. But before that, we will write the definition of common difference first. So common difference is difference between consecutive terms. So common difference is difference between consecutive terms. What is consecutive terms? So consecutive terms are terms that occur together. For example, A and B, here they occur together, so they are consecutive terms. B and C, here they occur together, they are consecutive terms. Similarly, C and D are consecutive terms, D and E are consecutive terms, and E and F are consecutive terms. However, A and C or A and D are not consecutive terms. Why? Because they do not occur together. In case of A and C, there is B in between, so it is not consecutive, and in case of A and D, there is B as well as C, so they are not consecutive terms as they do not occur together. Okay, so let's find the common difference in this sequence. We denote common difference as small d, and common difference is difference between two terms, two consecutive terms. That means difference between second term, that is B, and first term, that is B. So A. So common difference is B minus A. Similarly, common difference can be found out as C minus B, or D minus C, or E minus D, and so on. Okay. Now moving on to common ratio. Common ratio is ratio between consecutive terms. So common ratio is ratio between consecutive consecutive terms. We denote common ratio as small r, and it is ratio between two consecutive terms, that means second term by first term. Here common ratio r can be found out by dividing B by A. Similarly, we can find common ratio by dividing C by B. Similarly, dividing D by C, or dividing E by C and E by D, sorry, not C, and so on. Okay, And you might be wondering, why do we say common difference instead of just saying difference, and why do we say common ratio instead of just saying ratio? You will get that in a minute. Okay, now using common difference and common ratio, we will find out whether the sequence is arithmetic sequence or geometric sequence. Here in this sequence we have 10, 15, 20, 25 and 30 and 35. We will find common difference D here, and we will find common ratio R here. Finding common difference first. So first difference is 15 minus 10, which is equals to 5. Second is 20 minus 15, which is equals to 5. Third one is 25 minus 20, which is equals to 5. Fourth one is 30 minus 25, which is again is equals to 5. And fifth one is 35 minus 30, which is again is equals to 5. Okay, so here are the common differences, or let me say differences only. And finding common ratio, here 15 by 10, which is equals to 3 upon 2, and there is 20 by 15, which is equals to 4 upon 3, and there is 25 upon 20, which is equals to 5 by 4, and there is 30 by 25, which is equals to 6 by 5, and another is 35 by 30, which is equals to 7 by 6. So these are the ratios. Here common means there should be one differences. Common difference, in common difference there should be one differences, and in common ratio there should be one ratio. Here in common difference, in differences you can see all the differences are 5. So we can say that it is common differences. However, in terms of ratio, here the first ratio is 3 by 2, second is 4 by 3, third is 5 by 4, and so on, which are not similar, that is, which are not constant. So the sequences that have common differences is called as arithmetic sequence. Okay, so let me just write it for you. The sequence that have common difference between terms is called arithmetic sequence. So this is definition of arithmetic sequence. Here we have common differences, so we say it is arithmetic sequence. Okay, the common differences are constant and the common ratio are not constant, so it is arithmetic sequence. Fine. Now let's move on to another sequence. In this sequence also we will find common differences first, and then we will find common ratio as well. Here the difference is calculated by subtracting first term from second term. So 10 minus 5, which is equals to 5. Another is 20 minus 10, which is equals to 10. Another is 40 minus 20, which is equals to 20. Another is 80 minus 40, which is equals to 40. Another is 160 minus 80, which is equals to 80. Now moving on to common ratio, we have 10 by 5, which is equals to 2. We have 20 by 10, which is equals to 2 again. We have 40 by 20, which is again 2. We have 80 by 40, which is again 2, and we have 160 by 80, which is again 2. Here The differences are 5, 10, 20, 40 and 80, which are not constant. However, the ratios are 2, 2, 2, 2 and 2, which is constant. That is same. Here we have common ratio, so we will conclude it as geometric sequence. So let me just write definition for you. Geometric sequence. Let me just manage a constant definition, constant language. Okay. Okay. So the sequence that have common ratio is called as geometric sequence. So this is definition of geometric sequence. Why? Because why geometric sequence? Because it has common ratio, constant and not constant common differences. So it is geometric sequence. Okay. So you understand how to find arithmetic and geometric sequence. But we have other terms also that is required to solve the geometric and arithmetic sequence. Sequence and series question, and we will learn that in this slide. Okay. So we have first term. The first term is the first, as the term says, it is the first term in the sequence. Here in sequence we have 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 and 35. We have 10 as first term because it appears first in the sequence, and we write first term as small a. Okay. Now moving on to second one, we have last term. Here there are two kinds of sequences can also be classified as terminating sequence and non-terminating sequence. So however, in class 10 we only get question from terminating sequence, so we need to understand what last term is. Last term is basically for terminating sequence, that means the sequence that ends. So here the sequence 10, 15, 20, 25, 35, 30, 35 terminates, that is it ends at last term. So we have this as terminating sequence, and the last term is 35. So last term is 35, and we denote last term as small l. You might be wondering what about non-terminating sequence. Somewhere you might see 2, 4, 6, 8 and this dash. That means the dash means that the sequence do not terminate and it goes a long way. Okay. Now let's move on to another terminology, that is nth term. So we have this as first term, this as second term, third term, fourth term, fifth term, sixth term. So let me just write, this is first term, this is second term, this is third term, this is fourth term, this is fifth term, this is sixth term. Here if we replace 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by n, we will get nth term. So nth term is like a universal term, or what you can say is this is father of all term. To say that if we need to write first term, we will write this. However, in question you might get a question to find the nth term. So n basically means which term is this. For n is equals to 1, this is first term, and for n is equals to 2, it will be written as second term, and so on. So this is about nth term, and we denote nth term as t n, where t is term and n is nth. Okay. So we write first term as t1, we write second term as t2, we write third term as t3, and so on. Okay. Another terminology is mean. So mean is number of terms or the terms between first term and last term. Here we have 15, 20, 25 and 30 between first and last term. So 15th is first mean, 20th is second mean, 25 is third mean and 30 is fourth mean. So mean, we denote it as small m, is terms between first and last term. Okay, this is quite easy. And we have number of terms. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the number of terms is 6 for this sequence. And we have sum of number of means. So number of means is how many means do we have. You already know means are the terms that are between first term and last term. Here we have first mean, second mean, third mean and fourth mean. So we have 4 number of means. And another, we have sum of terms. The sum of terms is denoted as Sn, and this is also known as series. You know, this chapter is called as sequence and series is sum of terms. And we have different formulas for sum of terms. We have different formula for arithmetic sequence and another different formula for geometric sequence. We will learn that in coming slide. But before that, we will understand what number of terms is denoted as. So if it is n, then it means the number of terms. So number of terms is denoted by small n. Okay, this is about the terminologies that are used in sequence and series. Now let's move on to formulas. So we have arithmetic sequence and we want the formula of nth term. So the formula to find the nth term is Tn is equals to a plus n minus 1 d, where Tn is equals to nth term, a is equals to first term, n is equals to nth number of term that needs to be calculated, and d is common difference. Why do we have common difference here? Because in arithmetic sequence there is common difference and there is no common ratio. So we use common difference in the formula. So this is the formula to find nth term of arithmetic sequence. Okay, you note it down and you need to remember this and keep that in mind. Another is mean. So to find mean, we have formula of m is equals to n term plus n minus 1 term divided by 2. Basically, if we suppose need the mean between 10 and 20, so here we have 10 as n minus 1th term and 20 as nth term, 15 as nth term. If we need to find the mean between these 10 and 15, we will use this formula. And mean are basic it is not generally asked in question, however some question might ask about the mean. So basically mean is second term minus plus first term divided by 2. This is about mean. Here sometime question ask, so question give us 20 and then 30 and they ask us to find a mean. So for that we will do 30 plus 20 upon 2 is equals to 50 upon 2 is equals to 25. So 25 will be the mean. This is how we calculate mean, arithmetic mean. And now moving on to sum of terms, we denote sum of terms as SN, and we have formula n upon 2 a plus Tn. So SN is sum of terms. We already know what n means, what a means. So a is first term, and what Tn means, t is nth term. Okay. So this is formula for sum of terms, which can also be derived as SN is equals to n upon 2 a. We have formula of Tn. What is that? Tn is equals to a n minus 1 d. A plus n minus 1 d is equals to n upon 2 2a. We add a and a plus n minus 1 d. So if we are not given Tn, we can write Sn as n by 2 2a n minus 1 d as well. So this is formula to find the sum of terms in arithmetic sequence. This is quite important formula. You need to memorize it as soon as possible. Okay. Now let's move on to geometric sequence. To find nth term in geometric sequence, we write Tn as a r power n minus 1. Okay, where Tn is nth term, a is first term, r is common ratio. Why is there r in this formula? Because it is geometric sequence, and geometric sequence have common ratio. So we have formula for Tn nth term as Tn is equals to a r को power n minus 1. Okay. Now let's move on to mean. So we will find the mean of geometric sequence. The mean is denoted by m, as m is equals to root under nth term times n minus 1th term. So this is about the formula to find mean of geometric sequence, and we find sum of terms of geometric sequence as Sn, which is sum of terms. Sn is equals to a bracket r power n minus 1. Minus 1 is not power of r. Okay, by r minus 1 if r is greater than 1. Okay, so if r is greater than 1. However, if r is less than 1, we will write Sn as Sn is equals to a 1 minus r power n upon 1 minus r if r is less than 1. Okay, why? Because if r is less than 1 in this formula, then r minus 1 will be negative, and if r is greater than 1 in this formula, then 1 minus r will be negative. So we have different formulas for different values of r, whether that is more than 1 or less than 1. I have given you simple explanation why there are different formulas. However, there are some complex thing that is governing this formula. I mean different formulas for different values of r. So this is about the sum of term. If you are finding confusion regarding the formula, if you are not understanding the formula, please follow our practice session, practice question answers. I mean previous year question practice question, previous year practice solution. Then you will understand clearly about this formula of geometric sequence and arithmetic sequence. Now moving on to series, second part of our lesson. Series is sum of terms in the sequence. Here in arithmetic sequence, series is sum of terms. So Sn is equals to a n by 2 a plus Tn. If Tn is not given, then we will write the formula of Tn. So the formula of Tn is a plus n minus 1 d, which can be solved into n by 2 2a plus n minus 1 d. Okay, and this is series for arithmetic sequence. Why arithmetic sequence? Because common difference, and this is geometric sequence. So yes, n is equals to what is the formula? Geometric sequence: a bracket r power n minus 1 upon r minus 1 if r is greater than 1. Okay, and Sn is equals to a rn minus 1 upon 1 minus r if r is less than 1. Okay, if you want to find the formula, I mean find the sum of this geometric sequence by using the last term, nth terms, you will get Sn is equals to Tn r minus a by r minus 1. Okay, and this is about the formula of sequence and series. Now moving on to the last slide. So this is about the formula of sequence and series. If you have any confusion, please feel free to comment down in the video and I will get back to you, and we will solve previous year questions, previous year SEE questions in the next video. Till then, bye bye and take care.